Hello, all my dear judges. Today, we are going to share the results of our research. Our topic is a project of homelessness helping in Newcastle. Why did we choose this topic? The main reason is that one of our team members shared with us her experience of seeing homeless people in the UK, and we often see related reports in the news. So we decided to explore and conduct research about this issue to see if we could find a feasible solution. First, let's summarize the relevant information we have found. The causes of homelessness can be grouped into 5 main factors. The first is economic difficulties. Housing prices in the UK are constantly rising, while wages grow slowly, making it hard for people to afford rent, buy a house, or pay the mortgage. Additionally, due to the economic recessions in recent years, many people have lost their jobs, which leads to a decrease in family income. As a result, they could no longer afford the rent, not to mention the mortgage. This further intensifies homelessness. The second reason is family issues, such as domestic violence and broken marriages. These family problems can drive some people to become homeless. The third factor is mental health or addiction problems. Untreated mental health issues may cause people unable to work or live normally. The fourth reason is gaps in policies and immigration. Due to the increase in refugees from war-torn areas, some refugees in the UK are unable to access to public resources, especially housing benefits, which adds to the number of homeless people. The last one, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has increased unemployment and economic pressure, causing more people to become homeless. Among these 5 reasons, economic issues cause the highest percentage of homelessness. Let's talk about the UK government's policies. There are 3 main laws aimed at addressing the problem of homelessness. The first is the Housing Act 1977. This was the UK's first law addressing homelessness, which stated that local governments have the responsibility to provide shelter for specific groups. The main groups benefited from this act are pregnant women, families with children, vulnerable adults, and those made homeless by disasters. The main content of this law is to provide temporary accommodation and long-term housing support. A special point about these laws is that if the local government determines that the applicant has deliberately chosen to become homeless, like voluntarily giving up their housing, they may refuse to offer the assistance.
The second is the Homelessness Act 2002, which requires local governments to devote strategy to prevent homelessness. The Act also expands the definition of homelessness to include people facing eviction or unsafe living conditions, in addition to the groups of people mentioned above. Now includes people who will lose their homes within the next 28 days and a law focus on providing long-term housing. The third law is the Homeless Reduction Act 2017, which requires local governments to provide early intervention to help people at risk of homelessness. A key point is that all legal resistance in the UK can ask for this service, regardless of whether they are in a priority group or not. Additionally, the government must help those who have already lost their homes find place to live within 56 days. The priority groups for help include pregnant women, families with children, vulnerable adults, those made homeless by disasters, and those who will lose their homes within 56 days. Next, we will talk about housing price in Newcastle. The cheapest monthly rent is $425 per month for a place that can accommodate 3 people. Regarding the minimum wage, the latest update for 2025 is as follows. For people aged 23 and over, it's £11 per hour. For those aged 21 to 22, it's £10 and 18 pence per hour. For 18 to 20, it's £7 and 49 pence per hour. and for 16 to 17, it's £5 and 28 pence per hour. Lastly, the average unemployment period in the UK is typically 2 to 6 months, with no upper limit and the minimum being 1 day. Factors that can affect include industry difference. Some firms like technology and healthcare have higher demand and thus shorter employment periods, while more competitive industries like arts and media may have longer employment times. The state of the economy also plays a role. Unemployment generally increases during recession and decreases during periods of economic growth. Lastly, employment support services such as job training or career services can reduce unemployment direction.
Next, we're going to introduce our funding plan. Our plan will be divided into two parts: housing support and employment counseling. First, regarding housing support, we've used the minimum rent in Newcastle as a reference. You can rent a house that can accommodate 3 people for about £425 per month. Utility costs are around £70 per month for a house, with water costs being £20 and electricity £50. Considering the average unemployment period of 2 to 6 months, each homeless person will receive support for 2 months. If they can find a job in the first month and their salary is enough to cover the rent and basic living expenses, we will stop supporting them, and they will be responsible for rent and utilities starts the next month. We will reassess the person's situation every 2 months and determine if they should continue receiving support. Our evaluation standards are as follows. First, the person must be between 22 to 35 years old, as this age group is most likely to find work and has the required energy. Second, they must not be receiving support from other organizations. Third, they must have no criminal record, such as gambling or drug abuse. We will check through the certificate of good conduct. Finally, we will regularly inspect the properties to ensure they are safe and well maintained. The second part is unemployment counseling. We will provide training in fields that require fewer technical skills and have a higher number of vacancies, such as agriculture and gardening, the food industry, and cleaning and maintenance. We will cooperate with Durham University and local charities to find out organizations with a demand for relevant skills, and we would like to invite university students to assist in the program. We hope this program can help them gain leadership experience while helping homeless people. In addition, we will provide employment support for 3 to 6 months after employment, including regular interviews and skills development opportunities to help the homeless stabilize their work. Next, let's talk about the evaluation of the program's effectiveness. There are 2 success rates. First, at least 50% of those assisted should find stable employment within 2 months. Second, a satisfaction survey. At least 80% of those assisted should be satisfied with the housing and employment counseling services. If both of these targets are met, our program will be considered a success. Looking forward, if the program is successful, we can expand the target age range to 20 to 40 years old. We can also seek to cooperate with the local governments or businesses to secure more benefits for homeless people. Finally, regarding the distribution of the 250,000, we will invest 235,000 into housing support, which can assist 700 people for a month. The remaining 15,000 will be used for unexpected expenses. With a minimum rent and average utilities cost, 500 can help 3 people live for 1 month. The first batch of homeless people will use our 235,000 funding. And later, we'll rent 120 houses to those who have gained the ability to pay, with rent set at 500 per month. The remaining 110 houses will be used to accommodate homeless people. Any extra funds will be used as backup for things like housing repairs, equipment replacements, or medical expenses for those homeless. These are all we want to share with you. Hope you like our presentations. Thank you for listening.